Hello, whisperers. Welcome to the channel. If you enjoy tonight's tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It helps more than you know. Now, dim the lights, and let's begin tonight's story. I just wanted him to see the fireworks. That was the whole plan. Nothing big, nothing expensive. Just let him sit on the roof of the truck, eat a hot dog with too much ketchup, and watch the sky light up like we used to when his mom was still around. Our town, Lakeview, is the kind of place where nothing ever happens. Not in a bad way. We've got one gas station, one stoplight, and a main street that closes down every 4th of July, so the kids can bike through wearing crepe paper and red plastic sunglasses. It's cheesy, but it's ours. I parked near the ball field around 4, backed the truck up toward the edge of the hill where we'd get a clear view of the fireworks once they launched them over the lake. People were already setting up lawn chairs and little pop-up tents. Vendors lining the curb with bratwurst and kettle corn, the kind of afternoon that smells like sunscreen and old folding chairs. My kid, Aaron, had his little flag in one hand and one of those spiral lollipops in the other. Sugar all over his face. I made fun of him for it. He wiped it on my sleeve, laughed, and I let it slide. "Dad, look," he said around a mouthful of blue raspberry. "They're already doing them." He pointed to the sky past the town square, just above the tree line. I squinted. A blue spark bloomed in the air. No trail, no launch sound. Just a flash, too big, too quiet. It faded in less than a second. "That's not one of ours," I muttered. Another one went off, this one red, then 2 white bursts that looked wrong, too wide. They didn't pop, they didn't crackle, they just appeared. I looked around. Nobody else seemed to think it was strange. A few folks cheered like the show started early. My phone buzzed in my pocket, then just died. Black screen. Wouldn't turn back on. I wasn't the only one. The guy next to me tapped his phone and shook it, then looked up like he expected a tech support guy to descend from the clouds. Then came the sound, not from the sky, from the earth. It was like pressure, like a plane was flying low, right over your house, but you couldn't hear the engine, just feel it in your chest. A low, vibrating hum that made my back teeth ache. The wind died. The birds stopped. Aaron looked at me and said, "Why is it so quiet?" I didn't have an answer. That's when we heard the scream. It came from behind the food trucks, near the tree line behind the school parking lot. One scream, high, male, then silence, and then the man appeared. He came sprinting out of the woods at a dead run, white undershirt soaked in sweat, mouth open like he was trying to yell something, but all that came out was panic. Everyone turned to look. He made it maybe 5 steps into the field, and then something behind him moved. Fast. It came out of the shadows like a damn blur, like the air folded and just lashed. I didn't see what hit him. I didn't even see anything. I just saw what happened to him. He jerked once, like his whole body seized. And then he split vertically, right down the middle, from his forehead to his waist, like somebody ran a blade through him like a zipper. He didn't fall right away. For half a second, he just stood there, still running, still twitching. Then the two halves of him peeled apart with a sound I will never, ever forget, like meat slapping onto tile. He hit the ground in two wet pieces. Blood soaked the grass. Steam rose off him, like the earth didn't know what to do with the pieces. And then someone screamed again, louder this time. Dozens of people. And the fireworks went off. All of them, all at once, like someone had slammed their hand on the detonation board. The sky exploded in color, red, white, blue. Big finales, bright as hell. And in the flashes, just for seconds, you could see them. Tall things, spindly, fast. Their heads were the shape of mantis blades, and their arms moved like they weren't attached to anything, just free-floating joints. They didn't glow. They didn't snarl. They didn't even seem to care if we saw them. One was perched on top of the overturned float near the mayor's stand, hunched like a gargoyle, watching, studying. And then it moved again. Closer. The crowd broke. People scattered. Fold-out chairs flew in every direction. Children were getting trampled. The patriotic music was still blasting from the bandstand speakers. It was insane. Stars and stripes forever, while something just murdered a man in front of us. I grabbed Aaron. We didn't run toward the trucks or the crowd. We cut east toward the cornfields. No one else was heading that way. No street lights, just fence posts and dark. He was sobbing, but quiet. I told him to keep his head down, told him to hold on to my belt loop and not let go. I didn't even know where I was going, just away. The air started to vibrate again, like some massive machine was spooling up, like the sky had an engine that was coming online. And then I saw it. There was an old picnic table at the edge of the field, been there for years, half rotted, forgotten. We dove under it, crawled into the dirt side by side. I don't even know why I thought that would help. Maybe because I just needed a place to stop, to breathe, to hide. The sky was going crazy. Fireworks, lightning, maybe both. Couldn't tell anymore. And in one of those flashes, I saw it. Something massive, bigger than a barn, bigger than a damn house. It wasn't flying, it wasn't walking, it was just moving. Long limbs like cranes, curving in ways that hurt to look at. A mouth that opened sideways, filled with thin black teeth. Red fireworks burst right behind it, silhouetting its shape like it was posing for the kill. Aaron didn't look. I made sure of it, but I did. And I swear to God, it looked at me. Just me. Out of all the chaos, it turned and tilted its head, like a dog hearing something in a high pitch. Then it moved on, vanished into the mist like it had better things to do. And the sky, after all those lights, went dark again. We stayed under that table until the screams faded, and then the gunshots started. We didn't move for a long time. I don't know how long. Minutes, an hour. Felt like days under that picnic table, our faces in the dirt, listening to screams fade into coughing. Then silence, then distant gunfire. Eventually, I lifted my head. The sky was still bleeding fireworks, just leftovers now. Automated launches going off at the wrong times, bright enough to show how empty the field had become. Folding chairs tipped over, coolers ripped open. Someone's little American flag lay half-soaked in a muddy patch of grass. No one came to pick it up. Aaron's fingers were still gripping my shirt so tight I could feel the blood drained from my skin underneath. I whispered to him that we were gonna move. Quiet. No questions. Just keep going. He nodded once. The town looked like something out of a war documentary. Smoke rising from the direction of Main Street. Fire licking the sky in patches. A float was still playing distorted music. Born in the USA. So slowed down it sounded demonic. The only people we saw for a while were dead. One was slumped over the hood of a car, eyes wide open, face gone. Just gone. Like it had been scooped out. Another was crawling, hand dragging behind her, like it wasn't connected anymore, before she stopped halfway across the street. She didn't move again. We cut through someone's backyard, hopped a fence. That's when we saw lights through the trees. A house with candles in the windows. People. I almost cried. We got close and knocked low on the back door. Not loud, just enough. It opened fast. A young woman pointed a pistol at my chest, safety off. Probably early 20s, maybe ROTC. Still wearing her parade gear, flag pin, navy polo, khaki pants stained with something dark. She looked at me, then at Aaron, then motioned us in. Inside were 4 others, 2 teens, one older man holding a shotgun like he knew how to use it, and a woman curled in the corner whispering something over and over. I couldn't hear the words. Didn't matter. None of us were okay. We didn't stay long. The high school gym's the evac point. The vet told me, voice rough. Was supposed to be. Had Red Cross set up, radios, everything. Was? I asked. He didn't answer. We left on foot. Cars were dead, some melted, no birds, just wind, smoke, and the far-off echo of something scraping metal. The town felt smaller without people in it. Every porch light felt like a lie. When we got to the street leading to the school, I knew something was wrong. The air was hot, like standing next to a furnace, and it smelled, burned, but not like wood, like hair. The gym was still there, but the roof was gone, caved in, walls scorched black, no windows, just red light flickering inside. Something was moving in there, fast and rhythmic, too smooth to be human. I told Aaron to stay low and ducked behind an old bus frame, look closer. The thing inside was pacing, 4 limbs, back bowed like a dog mid-stretch, but longer, sharper. Something about its shape made my stomach turn, like it had too many joints in the wrong places. Then another dropped from the ceiling. Silently. No hiss, no roar, just impact. And they moved together like they'd done this before. That was our evacuation center. We fell back, tried the fire station. The building was dark but intact, still smelled like diesel and leather. Fire jackets hanging on the wall, a calendar still marked July 4th with a little American flag sticker. Inside we found bodies, one slumped against the stairwell, another in the kitchen, a third in pieces, like they'd tried to make a stand and lost. There was a radio on the desk, still crackling faintly. The ROTC girl fiddled with it, got it working long enough for a voice to come through. Static. Then, if you are still in the area, do not approach major roads. Do not signal aircraft. Ground movement has been interrupted. No reinforcements inbound. Do not attempt to flee. You will be hunted. Repeat. Do not. Then it cut out. We stood there listening to the emptiness that followed. I think that's the moment it hit us. No one was coming. No army. No cops. No news vans. We weren't being saved. There was no plan. No strategy. We were already gone. The invasion wasn't starting. It was finishing. We decided to stay put until dawn, barricaded the doors, shut off the lights, gathered supplies. I found Aaron asleep under the dispatcher's desk, holding a dented thermos like a teddy bear. I sat next to him and tried to think of something, anything to say, but I just stared at the wall. Somewhere out in the dark, something shrieked, high and sharp, not a roar, more like a beacon, and I swear, something answered. We made it to the hardware store just before 3 a.m. I used to hate that place. The flickering lights, the humming AC that never quite worked, the way the floor creaked when you walked down the screw aisle like the building was sighing under its own weight. But that night, it felt like a bunker. The front windows were already shattered, probably looters, or maybe not. I locked the door anyway, force of habit, and started checking the back exits. One had been pried open from the outside, but whatever had done it was long gone. No blood, just deep gouges in the frame. 3 of them, parallel, spaced wide. I didn't want to guess how wide. We got the barricades up using shelves, pallets, whatever was left. ROTC girl, Marissa, took charge like she'd been waiting her whole life for something to give her orders. The vet loaded a pump action with rock salt and kept muttering, "They bleed." I saw one bleed. But I didn't believe him. We had a view of Main Street from the front aisle. It looked like a movie set. Fireworks detritus everywhere, flags half burned, bloodstains on the asphalt that hadn't dried because of the humidity. Aaron sat behind the register, wrapped in a fire blanket, holding my old pocket knife like it meant something. At 3:41, the lights flickered, not inside, outside. A soft red glow began bleeding over the rooftops, spreading like sunrise, but wrong, pulsing, organic. I told everyone to get low. We heard it before we saw it, a pressure, like the air was being pressed downward. Dust floated up from the floorboards, nails rattled in their drawers. Then came the sound of glass breaking, slow, long, drawn out, like someone tearing through stained glass windows with their bare hands. Then we saw it, the Titan. It stepped into town from the west like it had all the time in the world. It didn't stomp, it didn't roar, it glided. Its legs were segmented, too tall for the buildings. Its arms hung low, dragging something behind it. Organic cables that twitched with each movement. Its head, if you could call it that, was flat, wide and shimmering, like metal that refused to settle on a single shape. It had no eyes, just a plate that reflected everything it was about to destroy. The fireworks rig, what was left of it, went off. Probably a timer someone forgot to cancel. The last batch launched straight into the thing's body. Red, white, blue. They popped in its silhouette like someone was trying to celebrate its arrival, and the color washed over its surface, lit it up in full detail. It didn't flinch. It didn't even look. It just kept moving. Marissa raised her rifle, aimed at the window, and I almost told her not to bother. But she pulled the trigger anyway. The shot echoed down the empty street. The thing stopped. It turned, not fast, not startled, just pivoted, like it had noticed an insect crawl across its skin. Then it took one step forward. The asphalt cracked. Windows blew out. The front of the store shook. Shelves toppled. "Move!" I yelled, grabbing Aaron and pulling him toward the back. Something punched through the ceiling near aisle 6. A long, jointed limb, not bone, not metal, slammed into the tile and speared the vet through the chest like a toothpick, lifted him clean off the floor. Marissa screamed. Another limb tore through the wall, sweeping low and fast. I saw her fly backward, ragdolled into the power tools section. I didn't see her get up. I kicked open the stockroom door and shoved Aaron through. The Titan's limbs were retracting now, curling upward like vines returning to their roots. It wasn't chasing us. It wasn't hunting. It was just clearing, finishing. I threw open the emergency hatch in the storage room floor and climbed down into the supply tunnel. We used it during floods sometimes. Aaron dropped in behind me. We ran, bent low, breathless. Above us, the ceiling creaked once, twice. And then the building collapsed. Not from bombs, not from fire, from pressure. Like the air itself decided the hardware store didn't need to exist anymore. We huddled in the dark for an hour, maybe longer, until dawn broke, until the glow faded, and then silence. No sirens, no planes, no radio chatter, just silence. They came for us on the 4th of July, 12 hours. That's how long we lasted. Not because we were brave, not because we were prepared. We survived because we hid, because we ran, because we didn't get seen. Somewhere out there, I know they're still walking. Those things. Maybe building something. Maybe just waiting for more of us to come out. But the one thing I know, they didn't come to talk. They didn't come to invade. They came to take.